Through faith, they conquered kingdoms, administered justice, received promises, shut the mouths of lions, put out raging fires, escaped death by the sword, found strength in weakness, became powerful in battle, and routed foreign armies. Hebrews 11:33 down to 34 ISV. Blessed everyone and welcome to our live stream. Again, this is your brother in Christ, Jose Roniboy Perez Cariaga. Muli na naman pong bumabate sa lahat ng mga tumatangkilik sa programang ito, sa broadcast na ito. Anong araw, anong oras, saang sulok man ninyo o kayo ng mundo at sa anumang paraan nyo mapapanood ang broadcast na ito, ang pagpapalanawa ng dakilang may kapal ang suma sa ating lahat. Dalangin po ng inyong lingkod na sana pagpalain kayo at sana maging pagpapala ang mga pag-aaral na ginagawa natin dito sa ating Making the Invisible Visible. At ganun na nga po, nasa Few Good Men, Part 13 na nga po tayo. At ang pinagbatayan po natin ng ating reading dun sa unang-unang bahagi ay galing po ito sa Hebrews chapter 11, kinikilala in all Christendom na ito yung Hall of Fame or ito yung tawag ng iba ay Faith's Hall of Fame. Lahat ng mga ehemplo, exemplar ng pananampalataya ay makikita po natin ang mga pangalan nila doon. At hindi pa nagkasya yung author ng Hebrews at sa ibang pagkakataon siguro pag-aralan natin, sino nga ba ang author ng Hebrews? Okay. Sabi niya, wala na daw siyang panahon para pag-usapan ang mga exploits nila. And then pinangalanan niya sila David, sila Barak, sila Gideon, and things like that. Pero piling-pili itong mga inilagay niya doon. At ang kanyang encouragement ay nakakatuwa. These are our clouds of witnesses na silang nag-i-encourage sa atin, na silang mga nakaantabay, nakatingin para bagang nasa Olympics tayo, no? At sa loob ng track and field, sa loob ng stadium, sila yung mga ando doon na nanonood. At tayo yung mga naglalaro, at tayo yung mga athletes, and they're egging us on. Na tayo ay magpatuloy, na tayo ay maging masigasig. And win the goal, kung pwede nga lang sigurong sabihin natin, no? Because of these things that is written also in Hebrews, and I'm taking it from the NIV. Sabi niya, itong mga Hall of Famers na to, these were all commended for their faith. Kailangan makita natin, they were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised. Yung particular na promise, yung the promise. Because they have already received some of the promises. Nakaakibat, siguro tawag natin doon yung mga rewards. But this particular promise is God had planned something better for us. And nasa isipan tayo lagi ng Diyos, nakakatuwa yun. God who created us, laging kaakibat tayo, kasama tayo sa mga plano niya. What was God's plan? That only together with us, kasama natin, hindi sila pwede mauna, kasama tayo, only together with us. Yun ang assumption, no? Hindi nila makakamtan yung promise that was given, that was promise to them, hindi mangyayari magkakaroon ng katuparan yon. That will only be possible only if we will be there. Only together with us, they would be made perfect. Ayon sa Hebrews chapter 11, 39 to 40. Kaya, naku, ang tagal na nila naghihintay. Since the dawn of creation, they have been waiting and they are cheering us to keep moving. How long, O Lord? How long? Yan ang mga prayers ng mga saints under the throne. Yan ang kanilang mga araw-gabi nilang sinisigaw. Doon sa nakaupo sa trono. How long, O Lord? How long? Until you take. Ang sa kanila doon, vengeance. At sa mga iba naman dito, how long, O Lord? How long? Until you give us the promise. At ang katuwiran siguro, kasi si Ronnie, kasi itong isang ito kasi yung isang yun, lulugo-lugo, tinan nyo, yung isang yun, parang nawawalan ng ganang maglingkod. And hindi magkakaroon ng katuparan, kagaya ng nasusulat, kapag hindi tayo kasama. Only together with us, they will receive the promise. the promised inheritance. So napakahalaga tayo. Napakahalaga natin. And a lot of us, marami sa mga Kristiyano ngayon, marami sa mga anak ng Diyos ngayon ang nagsasabing, I'm not good enough. Oh, hindi ako I'm not worthy to be one of those. Pero sasabihin mo, then you go to hell. Ayaw naman nila. Yet, when you encourage them to keep the fight or para magpatuloy sa pakikibaka, sasabihin nilang, I'm not good enough. Pero no one wants to go to heaven, to hell. Lahat-lahat gustong mapunta sa langit. Gayong pagka pinag-uusapan ang pagpunta sa langit or ano-ano yung mga kinakailangan makarating sa langit para makamtan ang pangako na langit, lang sasabihin, I'm not good enough. I am not worthy. Paulit-ulit para lang mayroong dahilan. Tama nga naman, ano? Kung gusto, may paraan. Kung ayaw, maraming dahilan. Kaya nga, tatalakayin natin sa part 30 ng A Few Good Men will be itong mga bagay-bagay na kagaya ng lagi nating naririnig na nagiging dahilan ng panghihina ng kalooban ng iba, panghihina o panlalamig sa paglilingkod dahil they're not good enough or they are not worthy enough to be there. Let me ask you one thing. Sa Hall of Fame na nasusulat sa chapter 11 ng Hebrews, makikita natin, maaaring isipin, I'm not good enough to be in the lists or I'm not even worthy to be included in the lists. Or yung pag-uusapan natin, marami sa mga ibang mga scholars, Bible scholars, or yung mga naunang scholars is, ito is not good enough to be in the list, not worthy to be included. And then, just one act at tapos ando doon na siya sa list. Yet, hindi natin mayaalis yan eh. Nasusulat. So, scholars had difficulty explaining the list, explaining kung sino-sino yung mga ando doon para bang maglalagay ka ng PBAs, greatest, no? Tapos, maraming mga wala doon. Kaya, kanda hirap ngayon ipaliwanag, bakit si ganito wala? Bakit si ganito wala? Bakit si ganito ando doon? Eh, silang pinili eh. So, ano magagawa natin? And it is good enough na mababasa natin that scholars have difficulty explaining the lists or explaining why this particular individual is in the lists. Hindi ba siya good enough? Hindi ba siya worthy to be included? Dahil ba walang gaanong nagawa? So, because of that, para maipaliwanag lang yung bagay na to, yung difficulty nila, is that they try to change the meaning. Para, kagaya ng, paalala nyo, when we talk about Job, they tried to explain or they tried to lawyer for God. Yung mga tatlong kaibigan ni Job. The same thing with this particular character na pag-uusapan natin. Kaya gusto nilang baguhin yung Hebrew term na zona at yung Greek term na porne. Wherein, porne, porno, pornography, pornographic, porne. Yun ang term. Kaya alam nyo na siguro kung sino pinag-uusapan natin. Porne, zona. And true enough, yan po ang kanyang pangalan. Ang meaning ng kanyang pangalan is broad. Siguro mataba din to. Paano to? And she has been called Rahab the harlot in Jericho, or Rahab the harlot, or simply Rahab the prostitute. Pag binasa natin ang kanyang pangalan, from the very start, Joshua chapter 2, verse 1, nauna nang nakita natin si Rahab the prostitute in Jericho. And then sa mga susunod na mga verses, makikita natin Rahab the prostitute. Or sa kanya mag-King James ka, Rahab the harlot. And yung stigma na siya ay isang prostitute, nanatili doon. So a lot of Bible scholars ay ayaw nila kasi nga gusto nilang protektahan. Dahil mamaya makikita natin sino nga ba ito si Rahab. Sa mga New Testament writers naman, unang-una makita natin, 11:31 ng Hebrews, wherein doon natin hinango yung ating reading, by faith, Rahab, the prostitute, did not perish. So, ando doon talaga yung, naka-stick talaga sa kanya yung prostitute. And in James chapter 2, verse 25, in the same way, was that also Rahab, the prostitute, justified? Because, and then, ando doon yung mga reason. So, hindi na maiaalis-alis yung nakadikit sa kanyang pangalan, nakadikit sa kanyang trabaho, nakadikit sa kanyang pagkakakilala sa kanya ng mga taong nasa paligid niya noong nabubuhay siya at nasa paligid niya noong mga nakasama niya. Rahab the harlot, Rahab the prostitute. Nga lang, ang iba tuloy, ayaw nilang tanggapin niya sa Matthew chapter 1 verse 5, and Salmon, the father of Boaz, by Rahab. Sino Rahab ito? Rahab the prostitute, Rahab the harlot. And Boaz, the father of Obed, by Ruth. Dalawang babae, tatlong babae lang mababanggit dyan. And then, si Mary nga, sa bandang dulo. So, bakit ganun na lamang ang difficulty nila na ipaliwanag na tanggalin yung Rahab the prostitute, Rahab the harlot? Kasi para sa kanila, bilang great-great-great-great-grandmother ni Jesus, hindi worth daw na yung Savior natin manggagaling sa isang ang ninuno ay prostitute or na ang isang prince magiging asawa niya ay isang prostitute lang. Kaninong kaisipan yon? Di ba? So bigyan natin ng mga dahan-dahang mga scholars na nagsasabing ganito. Unahin natin si Adam Clarke. Si Adam Clarke talagang known ito siya. Talagang maraming nagsasabi na yung kanyang commentaries ay maganda and marami siyang sinulat patungkol dito. Kung babasahin natin about Rahab the prostitute, ito ang kanyang sinabi. It is rendered exceedingly probable that the word zona in Hebrew and porne in Greek, which we translate harlot, okay? Tanggap niya, we translate it harlot, should be rendered innkeeper or tavern keeper. Or, ano yun, front office. Sa aming mga nasa hospitality management, ang tawag natin yun, front office. O nga naman, hindi mo naman pwedeng tawaging harlot ang nasa front office. Ano? Kaya binabago nila. Pero, wait a minute. As there is no proper evidence that the person in question was such a woman, or a woman, as our translation represents her. As to her having been a harlot before and converted afterwards, it is a figment of an idle fancy. Wow, Adam Clarke, you should know better. Ba't mo kami babaguhin? Ba't mo kami dadayain dito sa mga it is a figment of idle fancy? And then, affirmative siya, no? She was afterwards married to Salmon, a Jewish prince. See Matthew 1 verse 5. And it is extremely incredible that had she been a harlot, or had she been what we represent her, Prince Salmon would have sought for such an alliance, would have not sought for such an alliance. Grabe ang prejudice ni Adam Clarke, ano? Kaya ipapaliwanag na lang niya yung porne, front office na lang yan, innkeeper or tavern keeper na lang. Zona is just front office na lang yan sa mga hotel, sa mga brothel, sa mga hostel, or sa mga ganito. Basta front office or receptionists. Pero ang pinakamadali. Yet, nanatili si Albert Barnes. Dahil doon sa Zora at saka sa porne, ito naman si Albert Barnes, diretsa kanyang inamin. Much perplexity has been felt in reference to this case. And many attempts have been made to remove the difficulty. Isipin mo yon, tatanggalin nila na, uy, hindi dapat kasama dyan si harlot. Tanggalin na lang natin. Or, hindi natin matatanggal yung pangalan ni harlot, ni Rahab the harlot. So, sabihin na lang natin, Rahab, the front office manager, or Rahab the receptionists. Kakatuwa, no? Ito yung pagkakataon magkaminsan na ang mga scholars, they will tinker with the meaning of the word because what matters is their opinion over the written word or texts. Their opinion based upon their prejudice sa present na pagkakagamit ng text, or because they don't want such prostitute being in God's genealogy. Lord, we are protecting your, tatawagin natin. Pinapangalagaan lang po namin yung inyong pagiging holy, pinapangalagaan lang po namin yung inyong reputasyon, kaya ayaw naman namin ng isang babaeng mababa ang lipad na maging lola ng inyong anak. Sino niluloko natin? Yet the name harlot or the name prostitute, dahil yun ang kanyang trabaho, hindi niya sinabing the innkeeper, hindi niya sinabing the receptionist, hindi niya sinabing the front office manager, kundi the harlot, the prostitute. Stop. And this was written down kahit ng mga inspired writers. This was written by the writer of Hebrews. This was written by the brother of Jesus, James, at tinawag niyang Rahab the prostitute, Rahab the harlot. Gayong pinagpipilitan natin ng inspiration ng Biblia is plenary verbal inspiration or word-for-word dictation. So, i-question natin na paano nagsalita yung banal na Espiritu Santo nung dinidictate niya. And Rahab huwag mo sabihin sa akin na wala pang sapat na ibang salita noon. Rahab the harlot, prostitute. Or Rahab the innkeeper. Hindi. We accept words as they are at huwag nating babaguhin. Kaya nga tawag sa atin magkaminsan double standard. Kapag kasang-ayon tayo, lagi natin sasabihin, the context. Let's look at the context. And the context should and must, yan lagi natin sinasabi, yung konteksto, yung nilalaman, dapat mag-agree doon sa terminong gagamitin natin. Pag hindi mag-agree, sa pananaw natin, sa opinion natin, baguhin natin ang meaning. Kagaya ng ace, into or for or because of. Yan. Is yung remission, baptism is for the remission, or baptism because of the remission of sins. Ace lang yon. Pinagdidibatihan niya ng buong Christendom. Ang iba naman ay yung root word. Ano bang root word nito? Porno. Tapos babaguhin mo, kasi nga, in. Yan naman. So, kagaya din ng build. Hindi naman establish. Yan, I will build my church. Doon na daw, kaya i-build na lang. I will strengthen, kasi building up is strengthening. Ang daming mga double standards. Ang daming mga paliwanag para lang mag-fit doon sa sariling haka, sariling opinion. When it agrees with one's own theology, gagamitin natin. Pero pagka nag-disagree, ayaw natin. Or kapag it agrees with the tradition that we are attached with or attached to, we agree with it. Pero kapag hindi na rin. Or kapag kakilala natin at alay natin yung nagsasalita, okay lang, ganito na. Pero kapag yung hindi natin alay nagsasalita, sabihin natin, may iba pang pakahulugan yan eh. And sa lahat halos ng bagay. Kagaya nga ng nasabi ko, yung ace natin, is it for or because, yung because of. Yung build, is it really to put up, to start, or to strengthen? Ito na yung mga pinag-uusapan. Ito pang dalawang double standards ulit tayo. Divorce. At yun nga invited namin na isang resource speaker, ipinagpipilitan niya na walang divorce sa Bible. We cannot get any Plainer than that, God hates divorce. Yung pinapakita po natin, and we have discussed that sa mga naunang mga broadcast natin. Just go back to that. Few Good Men 8, 9, and 10. Natalakay natin. And so, with prostitution. Double standard pa rin sa prostitution. Ito ang hinangog ko kay Holman. 1991, sabi ni Holman, it is the result of a double standard whereby men insist on the sexual purity of their wives and daughters while desiring access to other women. Hosea chapter 4, makikita din natin dyan, ano? These men, yung mga tao sa Israel, andun sila, nagkukumit sila ng, they go with cult prostitutes. Or, saan ba mauuwi itong mga kagaya nito? Doon sa double standards, ano, nakakatuwa. And we know some, hindi naman marami, pero may mga kilala po tayo, kakilala po tayo, na living a double standard life. Napakadaling magsalita at magsabi ng being faithful to God, ng maging example, and yet they could not even be examples. They could not even be faithful to their wives. Tapos magyayabang pa, no? Magmamapuri pa na pupunta lang ako doon pagka invited na ako na speaker nila. Or magugulat tayo. How long have you been preaching on these things? Tapos biglang sasabog na may anak pala sa ganito, sa ganon. In all those years, nakayanan mong magsalita sa harapan ng kongregasyon. Kaya yung double standard sa tinatawag natin. So here is what is being questioned. Gusto lang natin iparating is that ang nasusulat. And Rahab, maging yung mga writers ng New Testament, wala silang problema doon. Iyan ang katotohanan. Iyan ang payak na katotohanan. At least, hindi hypocrite. Or at least, hindi kagaya ng ibang mga tao na mag-a-appear na godly, honoring God, yet their lives speak differently. Oh, lest we forget pala, pinag-uusapan natin itong Faith Hall of Fame at hindi about prostitution, hindi about double standards, at hindi about pornography and things like that. Pinag-uusapan natin, paano nga ba napabilang sa Faith Hall of Fame itong si Rahab? Ulitin natin. It was the Hall of Fame for faithful. Not Hall of Fame for workers or work-oriented. It was all about faith-filled lives at hindi yung work-filled individuals. Kaya napabilang doon si Rahab kasi yung kanyang faith, nung itinago niya yung 2 spies, yung kanyang faith, dahil sinabi niya na we have heard how you cross the Red Sea, we have heard paano yung tinatalo ang mga kings sa inyong daanan, and nawalan kami ng gana, nawalan kami ng lakas ng loob to fight against you because we know that God is behind all this. Diretsa niya sinabi sa 2 spies that was sent by Joshua. So because of this, makikita natin that kind of faith ay maging source of encouragement sana sa atin. Sa atin ng mga nagsasabing, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Or, I'm worthless. Di ako karapat-dapat. Or, I am so sinful to be in the list or to be even mentioned na kabilang sa listahan na yan, mapabilang sa listahan na yan, or ayaw namang sabihin mapabilang sa isasama sa langit. Kasi kahit na sinasabing not good enough, worthless, pero ang buong feeling niya ay kasama pa rin siya sa makakapasok sa langit o pupunta sa langit. Di ba? Double standards pa rin yon. O sila na magsasabing, I'm weak. Hindi ako aabot talaga sa listahan. You're giving up? Listen to this. Through faith, they conquered kingdoms and administered justice, received promises, shut the mouths of lions, put out raging fires, escaped death by the sword. Yung naka-highlight, they found strength in weakness. And they became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. Sa NIV, ang gamit niya doon ay whose weakness was turned into strength. Parang SWOT analysis lang yan, ano? Yung weaknesses are turned into strength. Sa GNB, Good News Bible, sabi niya, they were weak but became strong because of that faith. What a faith, ano? Ang galing. So magiging napakalaking encouragement sa atin that Rahab the prostitute, known to be prostitute, known to be the harlot, at talagang pinupuntahan niyang bahay niya kasi yung bahay niya din is an inn, is in the Hall of Fame. Rahab, na hindi katanggap-tanggap yung kanyang naging buhay dahil sa kanyang pananampalataya at pagtitiwala sa Diyos, napabilang sa Hall of Fame, hindi Hall of Shame. Sa mga nagsasabing, napakarami kong kasalanan para mapasama, here is Paul. Paul says, I am chief among sinners. Or sa iba, worst among sinners. Superlative na po yun. Yet, si Paul ay sinasabi niyang, I have fought the good fight. At alam ko, there is now the promised crown of life waiting for me. That's Paul. So, anong pinagsasabi mong weak ka? What's your weakness? Ang weakness mo ba is because you're not good enough? Or you have sinned beyond forgiveness? Come on. When you read the names in the Hall of Fame, they were not commended because of their noble actions or noble things they have done, yet their faith made them to move mountains. Their faith made them who they were. All were commended for their faith. And these are our cloud of witnesses encouraging us to keep the faith, to keep on keeping on. At ito, napabilang na si Rahab sa lists of few good men. And ang dalangin po ng inyong lingkod, if we are not yet on that list, we be on that list. And we make ourselves commended, not because of noble acts, but because of our faith. Unwavering faith in Jesus. Muli, ito po ang inyong lingkod, Jose Roniboy Perez Cariaga, nagpapasalamat at umaasa na sana nagkaroon tayo ng kalakasan ng loob, bagamat sa ating kahinaan, gawin sana ng Diyos na kalakasan niya na patuloy tayong maglilingkod sa Kanya.